Hello and welcome. In this short video, I'm going to introduce you to Packet Tracer simulation program that you can use actually to configure routers, switches, and Cisco devices. So first of all, if you are new to Packet Tracer, you could actually download Packet Tracer simulation program from the NetAcad. So you need to have NetAcad access. Okay, you need to log into NetAcad Access and then you need to go to resources, and the resources, as you can see, we have Packet Tracer resources. You just need to click here and then Packet Tracer download page and choose the latest version of Packet Tracer. If you scroll down a little bit, as you can see, if you are running Packet Tracer on Windows PC, you could actually choose 64-bit version or 32-bit version. Normally you're gonna download the 64-bit version. If you are running Linux, as you can see, Ubuntu 64-bit version and Mac OS X. Okay, so I'm going to launch Packet Tracer. I already installed it. So Packet Tracer, and then let's actually walk you through the tabs of Packet Tracer and how to use this simulation program. So as you can see, Packet Tracer is launching right now. So here we go. So this is Packet Tracer window. So let's talk a little bit about the tabs on the top. So here in this file, if you actually want to open new, open a new Packet Tracer program, if you have already Packet Tracer and open it, you could actually use the open. If you want to actually, after finishing Packet Tracer program, if you want to save it, you could save or save as. Okay, it's going to be saved as .pka, okay, extension, and so on and so forth. You could exit, log out, and so on and so forth. In edit, it's simply just copy, paste, undo, and redo. Options, under options tab, preferences, you could actually change a couple of things in here. For example, if we go to interface, customize user interface here, you could show animation, play sound, and so on and so forth, show link lights, and so on and so forth. So administrative in here, there are no much to do. Actually, interface locking, if you want to lock some specific tab on the interface, on the router or a switch or any device, okay, configuration. Show and hide, if you want to hide something, as you can see, hide attributes tab. If you want to hide the GUI tab, if you want to hide something in here, if you want to show or hide, that's the place where you can hide or show a specific, okay, tabs. Under the phone tab, as you can see, you could change the application. This is actually will affect the entire application, the size of the font. If you want to change the size of the CLI or the command line, as you can see, I'm setting it to 16. And in order to take effect, you need to log to close Packet Tracer and open it back in order for this to take effect. Okay. I think that's pretty much it. That's what you're going to use. Okay, we are not going to use those tabs pretty much. So basically, the interface, show and hide, and then the font tab. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to close this one here. Regarding the view, as you can see, you could zoom, and under tools, you could actually use drawing palettes, for example. Extensions, we are not going to use this tab, that's match, window, enter full screen mode, and then the help to check it version, and so on. So I'm running the version 8, which is the latest and greatest version of Packet Tracer. Okay, so how to use Packet Tracer? As you can see here, down here, we have the networking devices or network devices. We have routers, switches, and all the devices that we have here. Down here, we have routers, we have switches, we have hubs, we have actually wireless devices, and security appliances like firewalls. We have the cloud, okay, which is simulation of the internet, and so on and so forth. Then here we have the connection, and so on and so forth. So if I click on the routers, as you can see, we have a couple of versions of the routers running different iOSs. And remember, this is just simulation program, so the iOS is not like the real iOS, but you have the basic commands that you can use, and it's there enough to learn, okay, how to actually configure router or a switch. So I'm going to choose, I'm going to drag and drop a router right here, okay. I can go to the switches and drag and drop a 2960 series, which is layer 2 switch, okay. And then we could connect them. To click the connections, as you can see, we could choose between the connections. So we have the we have serial connections, we have a fiber optic connections, we have a crossover connection, we have straight through connections, and so on and so forth. So rather to switch, we use straight through connections. Okay, so just to remember, straight through connections are used between N-like devices. Router and switch are N-like devices, so we could actually use straight through. Like devices, switch to switch, router to router, use crossover cable. Okay, and then we could actually click on the router right here, and then we have a couple of tabs: physical, config, and CLA. So if you don't see some tab, if the tab doesn't exist in here, you may check, as I showed you earlier, option preferences, and see if something is hidden from the, for example, let's say device config tab. If I do hide, and then I can close this one, and then if I go to the router here, as you can see, the device configuration tab is gone right there. Okay, so I'm gonna turn it back on. So go to show and hide, and then I'm gonna tick hide all devices config tab, and if I go back to the router, I can see that the config tab is right here. So we're not going to use, this is just basically the you could save, you could load, you could do pretty much you know, basic things. You can see how many interfaces we have on this router, and so on and so forth. But normally we are going to use the CLI or the command line interface. By hitting enter, you are going to be in the Cisco iOS enable mode or the user exec mode. Likewise, the switch also, if I click on the switch, as you can see, we can actually see the physical, okay? So under the physical tab, you could actually turn off the device. Let me zoom in a little bit. You could turn the device on and off. You could add modules. I think we cannot add modules, but this is not module switch. So you could do it on the router. For example, if we go here, and then you could go to physical, and then let me zoom in, and then turn off the router, and you could install modules. For example, the WIC T card. This is a serial connection with two interfaces, two serial interfaces, as you can see, and then you could turn back on the router, okay, and let it, okay, complete the boot, okay, and then we are ready to start the configuration of the router, okay. As I mentioned, likewise on a switch, we could go to CLI on a switch, and basically the Cisco iOS on all devices are pretty much, okay, similar, and that's the beauty of Cisco iOS. So you learn it once and you apply it on all the most of the devices. I mean, routers to firewalls to switches and other Cisco devices, okay? So I think that's pretty much it regarding the packet tracer. I just want to mention another thing. As you can see, we have real time and we have simulation. So here we could actually display the packets. For example, what are the packets like the ARP, BGP, DHCP, DNS, and so on. This is actually simulation mode. You could actually simulate, okay, packets and so on and so forth, okay. In the latest version, they add something called the physical, so you could connect devices in physical. You could actually use the rack and drag and drop devices into the rack, cable them with cabling, okay, and so on and so forth. So I hope this has been informative for you guys, and I would like to thank you for viewing.